Hey everyone, so in this video I will be giving y'all a story time on my blindness. So to me, if anybody asks me about my blindness, I tell them that I became blind overnight. And why I say that is because when I was in 9th grade, I remember I was in freshman seminar. It was hard for me to be able to see, and I didn't say anything. So after freshman seminar, I went to math. Now we did work the overhead projective, and I used to always sit in the back. So this particular day, I couldn't see what was on the overhead projective. So I asked my friend, could she look at my eye to see anything in my eye, because I did like this, it was blurry, and I did like this and both eyes was blurry or whatever, so I couldn't really see. So she looked at my eyes and she said that it looked like I had a cataract in my eye. And I told her, how you know you think it's a cataract? She was like, cause her grandmom had it. I said, oh. So I asked my math teacher for a note so I can go down to the nurse so they can look at my eyes. Cause at this point, like, my vision was blurry. I couldn't see anything. So I went down to the nurse and let the nurse know that something was wrong with my eyes and I can't see. And she looked in my eyes and said it looked like a blue cloud in my eyes. And she said it might be a cataract, but she couldn't tell me whether or not it was a cataract because she was just a nurse and she wasn't a doctor. So from there, I went home, told my mom, and we made eye doctor's appointments and things like that. Meanwhile, going back and forth to school, it was hard for me to see. Then I had to sit like real close to anything, the chalkboard, the overhead projective, like really close, like this, to be able to see. For me, it was kind of embarrassing because I was in Strawberry Mansion, living in North Philly, and I just felt real different. Like, now you can't see. Being so I couldn't see my work in school, some days I didn't do work. And then that went on for a while. Then later on, when I finally went to the so later on down the line, I went to the eye doctor, and I did have cataracts in both eyes. At this time, my left eye was worse than my right eye. So I had to get set up with I had to get set up for the cataract surgery. So after I got that all set up, when I went to school, I had to do an IEP due to me being visually impaired, legally blind now. So I had to do an IEP, and they set me up with a lady from the Bureau of Blindness and Visual Services, and she helped me with a magnifying glass, which helped out a lot, and I was able to continue to do my work, and I wasn't falling behind. And also she helped me with a CCTV. It looks something like a computer. It's like a magnifier. If I see a picture, I'm gonna put it right here. So when I got the CCTV, I had to start doing my work in a separate class because it was too big to be in the classroom. So at that time I started feeling isolated, feeling like I was by myself, and we had 7 classes, so I had to go to my class, get the work, then go to another class by myself and do the work, and then take my work back to the class, which for a while I didn't like that, but that's the only way I was able to do my work, because later on the magnifying glass didn't work or whatever. So let's fast forward a little bit. So I know I was like between 15 and 16 when all this happened, but I don't really know like the months and stuff because it was a while ago. So fast forward a little bit, surgery in the left eye first. I had to come back and get a cataract in the right eye after that. During surgery, I really didn't know what was going on. But when I woke up, I really couldn't see anything. I just saw red. That's all I saw. I just saw red. And that lasted for a while. I had to use a different kind of eye drops to help the healing and stuff like that. And then when my left eye healed, I had to go back to get the right eye done. In both of my eyes, I have artificial lenses. The surgeries helped a lot. I know later on down the line, my vision never was stable. It was either my right eye was good at one point, or my left eye was good at one point, or both of them was just blurry. I'm accepting being legally blind, knowing that I'm losing my vision, knowing that when I was of age to be able to drive and stuff, that wasn't going to be able to happen due to my vision. So I was kind of upset about that. I was embarrassed to actually tell people about me being legally blind, because like people look at me and I tell them I'm legally blind and they be like, well, you still can see. But they don't realize it's different levels of being legally blind. So with me being legally blind, it was like, you're legally blind but you can still see. Yeah, I'm legally blind but I still can see, but I can't see like you can see. You know what I mean? After the surgeries, I continued to go to school using my magnifying glass, going back to the other class to use the CCTV, and that happened for about a good 2.5 years. The process of me going to school, in between school and in between getting surgeries and stuff for my eye, I think I was in 11th grade and we had another IEP meeting to figure out whether or not Strawberry Mansion was a good school for me to stay at due to me being legally blind as a regular public school. I made the decision that I wanted to stay in Strawberry Mansion and graduate from Strawberry Mansion because I was in that school since 7th grade. So I wanted to graduate with the people that I went to school with. And I just didn't want to go to a whole nother school and I'll be in 12th grade next year and be able to graduate. The end result was I stayed in Strawberry Mansion to 12th grade. And when I graduated from there, I went to Overwood School for the Blind for secondary school to be able to learn Braille, technology like Zoom, JAWS, like a lot of different stuff and different techniques that blind people used. I had to learn how to do that. Throughout my last year of 12th grade, it was the easiest year because I didn't have that many classes, and I also was assistant in a nurse office, and I also was on a white scholars program, and I was doing pretty good, so I was able to graduate from Strawberry Mansion one time. And then after I graduated from Strawberry Mansion, that's when I went to Overbrook School for the Blind for 2 years, and I learned how to read Braille a little bit. I learned how to use the technology, Zoom text, and also JAWS, but that's more like for the people that's fully blind. JAWS and Zoom text is for more like people like me that can see but need stuff to be magnified. I went to Overbrook School for the Blind. I still felt like I was still uncomfortable letting people know that I was legally blind, even though some people knew and some people didn't, because if they didn't ask, I didn't tell. If they didn't see me using the magnifying glass, I didn't say anything. If I couldn't see something and I needed help, I didn't say anything. And going to Overbrook taught me that if you can't see something and you need help, you should ask. Because I'm not fully blind, but I am legally blind and I have vision. So if it looks like I don't need help, then nobody's going to ask me for help. I mean, nobody's going to offer to help me if I don't speak up and say, hey, I need help with this, I need help with that, I can't really see that, can you help me? And stuff like that. So going to Overbrook School for the Blind taught me how to speak up and be more comfortable with my vision, even for years after that, because I graduated from Overbrook School for the Blind in 2007. Even a couple years after that, I still wasn't 100% comfortable with being legally blind, because I live in North Philly, and my vision was to the point where as though I needed to at some point and sometimes use a white cane, because my vision, especially in the nighttime, wasn't that good. So I really needed to use the white cane, but I didn't want to use the white cane because I was embarrassed. And the only time I did use the white cane is when I was in school doing class, because they had a mobility training class where they take the students out and do mobility, how to use the cane, crossing the street, different techniques that you gotta learn basically as a blind person. So that's the only time I used the cane. And considering that I lived in North Philly, where I lived at, I didn't want to feel like a target walking down the street with a cane, which sounds crazy because I mean, safety is better than not being safe, but I feel like walking down the street with a cane in North Philly, or not walking down the street with a cane in North Philly, it's like damn if you do or damn if you don't. Cause I feel like I'd be a target walking with a cane. And I was embarrassed of being legally blind. And like, you don't understand how a person accept you and whatever disability you have or whatever. But I know for me, I was embarrassed of being legally blind. in Overbrook School for the Blind, I did make a few friends, but I made one close. I was gonna go to the restaurant school in Philadelphia. I did go there, but later I realized that some stuff that I was doing in the beginning, my vision wasn't that stable for me to do it, and I was still going through different surgeries because I had to do laser surgery. I had to get different injections, and it was a whole lot. But I wanted to go to that school for cooking, basically. But I was unable to finish it. Working in the food industry is just a lot. Like 20 or 21, even then I still felt some type of way being legally blind. Then I was going to the library for is a library in Philly for people that's blind and handicapped. So I went to that library, and they had like different programs you can go to like just help you become like a better person, living with blindness, and you get toured by people that's blind or whatever. So I went there, and that's when I realized like there's other, even though I realized this in Overbrook School for the Blind, when I went there I really realized that there are more blind people in this world than the people that you see in Overbrook. There's a lot of people in this world that has visually impairment as well, and I'm not the only one. So I really shouldn't feel embarrassed about being legally blind, but I felt embarrassed being legally blind because I was 15, 16 in Strawberry Mansion in North Philly. And on top of that, when I was in elementary school, I got teased a lot. So that's another reason why I didn't want to tell nobody about me being legally blind, because I got teased a lot growing up and stuff. So yeah, so basically I became blind. I'd say I became blind overnight, but my doctor said that I could have was born with cataracts, and it just could have just been developing until it came ahead. Little story time about how I became legally blind. So yes, I am legally blind, and yes, I can see, and I use a magnifying glass to see like text. I use a magnifying glass to edit this video. I use a magnifying glass to read my mail. I use a magnifying glass for everything. So the things that I don't leave out with is my phone, my keys, and my magnifying glass, because I need them. So yeah, so you reached the end of this story time. May you subscribe, like, and comment, and I just hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope I wasn't like rambling too much. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave it in the comment section.